Amar Kishore Prabhu, shall we start?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can start now.
Okay. Hare Krishna. So we are very honored that today we have with us His Grace Radha Vallabh Prabhu. Radha Vallabh Prabhu, can you on your video? We'll be happy to see you. And Amar Kishore Prabhu, can you spotlight his video so that everybody can see him? Yes, wonderful. So Radha Vallabh Prabhu is acclaimed chef, author, yoga teacher, and speaker, and a life coach. All of us know him from many years. He has a postgraduate engineering degree from IIT Mumbai, and he has done extensive study of Ayurveda, and he has been a full-time monk in Mumbai Chowpatty Temple for many years, where he was known for his loving service attitude, where he served all devotees so nicely, and especially in yatras, we used to see him serving thousands of pilgrims. He is one who was also personal cook of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and under his instruction, he learned so many varieties of cooking and special uh, health dishes and other things. And he received a lot of special blessings of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. And he then further did a lot of detailed studies in this field of diet, yoga, and health. He has also written two books, especially book Bhajan Se Bhojan and Satvik Vegan. So for devotees, he's known among devotee circle for his wonderful, uh, loving devotional devotee relationships, and also his wonderful presentation. He has been also preaching to many engineering and medical students, and for me, he has been a very good friend. And in yatras, and whenever I used to go to Chowpatty, it was my great joy to have his association. So recently, we are thinking Guru Maharaj Vyas Puja is coming, so we hardly in Calcutta get so much of association. So we thought we can hear from those who have association of Guru Maharaj. So when I was talking with our Brachandra Prabhu, he was saying Radha Vallabh Prabhu is the best person. He has got so much of intimate association of Guru Maharaj. So if you can hear from him, that would be great. So I just called him, and fortunately he agreed. So we are feeling extremely blessed that on 17th anniversary, 17th Vyas Puja of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, we have great good fortune of hearing from His Grace Radha Vallabh Prabhu. Currently, Radha Vallabh Prabhu is in America, so it is early morning time for him there. He lives with his wife Hansapriya in the Bay Area of Silicon Valley, California, and he is working with a team there to bring about good healthy food to the people of modern world. His specialty is his ability to combine food, yoga, and meditation to give holistic health at the level of body, mind, and spirit. He conducts online workshops and provides one-to-one consultancy to shape up the diet and yoga practices. So, in recent couple of years, he has given thousands of workshops actually, and guided thousands of devotees and people in general. So, hundreds of workshops, practically more than 200 workshops, and guided thousands of devotees and general people in this sattvic cooking. So, let us welcome His Grace Radha Vallabh Prabhu. And Radha Vallabh Prabhu, here mostly devotees of Calcutta, because they get hardly association Maharaj. They are very thirsty and eager to hear from you. Mm. And actually, directly, more than directly associating with spiritual master, it's a great blessing to associate with those who have personally associated with spiritual master and serve and earn great blessings of spiritual master. So we feel very honored to get the opportunity to hear from you. Hare Krishna. And we are very grateful that in spite of your busy schedules, and you took out your valuable time to give your session. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Chiratana Prabhu. I'm very much honored and humbled by this opportunity to serve all the devotees by sharing my memories with Radhanath Swami Maharaj, our Gurudev, my spiritual master. Uh, Today it's 5 a.m. here in California, where I live. And 5 a.m. is the time when we do Mangalarti in Chopati, Girgaon Chopati Radha Gopinath Temple, starting with Guru.
Yes.
So I'm feeling very blessed that this is the Guru Vandana time, and I am blessed with this opportunity to speak about Sri Radhanath Swami Maharaj's glories. Uh, Prabhu called me a few days back, and Brachandra Prabhu, who actually more intimate, and he's serving Maharaj so intimately for so many years, but he is giving me this opportunity. It's good because I understand his compassion on me, because I'm away now from the service. So he allows me to think about Maharaj more. And I really thank him for that consideration. So in this way, I can be more close with my spiritual master. So my thanks to Brachandra Prabhu and Acharya Prabhu again. Thank you again for calling me and deciding to give this seva. Calcutta is a very nice place. I mean, whenever I traveled there for Maharaj service, I experienced a lot of compassion of Srila Prabhupada also there. My chanting and my oral, prasadam, taste of prasadam, everything is fantastic in Calcutta, and I really reminisce them a lot. I think 2002 or 3, I was given the service to do seva for Maharaj, cooking and all. And whenever I would come to Mayapur, all the devotees, when I'm in Calcutta, then to Mayapur, the devotees in Calcutta would really so eagerly waiting. And I would feel like as if I'm Maharaj, arranging all the stove, the gas cylinders, the utensils and everything. And their love for Maharaj would express so deeply. Radharaman Prabhu, in the beginning, then, Raja, I forgot his initiative name. And then later, Anangmohan Prabhu and
Rupananda.
Rupananda. I used to serve. And later, Hanangmohan Prabhu, Acharatana Prabhu, all of you came, big scholars came, and beautiful arrangements. And I'm really grateful because of you. I could serve nicely Maharaj in Mayapur. Now, so I'll start something from Mayapur. Many things happened in Mayapur, Swami Maharaj. One is there are many aspects of his life, his personality, great personality. Actually, before I start, I should offer prayers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manavishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Thank you. So yes, So because all of you are from Calcutta and Mayapur, I thought I'll start something from Mayapur. And many things happened. There are various aspects of his great personality. One is, but I would say the underlying theme or is that to serve devotees and make devotees happy. Uh, he strongly believes, I mean, his compassion. You see always that devotees should be happy, no matter what, and that will help one to become Krishna conscious better. So he would always try to make devotees happy. Even I have seen a very intense meeting going on in his room, because he would be around some high level meetings and intense meeting, and some high level leaders are sitting in the rooms, and suddenly burst of laughter should be coming out of that room time and again. I mean, he would make the things light and make people happy. Not that you come with a big problems and go with a very heavy head out of the room. No, whenever they come with a heavy head, they would exit with a very light head and smile on their faces. So yes, that's Mara's constant concern. I mean, how devotee should be happy, and he would do everything for that. So once in Mayapur, these Chinese devotees were like those days the number were increasing gradually because of the preaching in China and all. So many devotees coming, they came to know about Radhanath Maharaj, and they wanted him to give them an audience, a talk exclusively to the Chinese devotees. I have seen that many people want to have their group Maharaj Association exclusively, and many such groups come, and this group also came to have his association, and he is very kind enough to extend himself. Although GVC meetings are heavy and so many things happen there. At one temple, those who manage, they know how much tough it is, and what to speak of the entire ISKCON and the meetings and the kind of thing that happens there. But even within that, he would actually extend and graciously. But the number was so large that they could not fit to a small garden or places or in a small room, although it was winter morning. So they decided to do it in an outside garden. And unfortunately, that morning, like Mayapur, sometimes the storms comes, heavy rain came, and there was a whole wind and storm, and the power went off, and so many things happened. And the place that the venue, the schedule was there, it was all devastated with water and everything. But still, the stage, which had a kind of shade, was clean, where Maharaj was supposed to sit and give. So what Maharaj did, he invited all the devotees onto the stage. It was like the sitting surrounding Maharaj very closely. And the electricity was not there, so they could not speak on microphone. So they had to zoom inside, very close. And it was like, because of the rain and everything, people feeling a little low, whether it's going to happen or not. But they're excited and happy to see Maharaj. And Maharaj also very happy to see all these devotees, shining Chinese devotees. And the first line he said, I still remember, the first line he stated to these devotees to encourage, to bring them out of their, kind of little depression or whatever. He said, and it was a Shivaratri day. So Amavasya Shivaratri, because that is the day then we observe it in Jagannath temple in Mayapur. So early morning, so they all gathered there, and first thing Maharaj says is, Lord Shiva is from China, and all the Chinese students, they were very excited, very happy. Then he said, no, I'm not exaggerating, because Kailas mountain where Lord Shiva resides is in Tibet, and now Tibet is occupied by China. So naturally, Lord Shiva is from China. They all laughed. And then he started glories of Lord Shiva from that very beautiful class. Anyway, we'll not go to the details. The point is, he always wanted to make devotees happy. And now I just wrote down many things. I was thinking how will I cover in 2 hours, because I may not be able to speak so long. But as I thought, so many thoughts flooded my mind and heart. I started jotting them down, and I don't know where to start, where to end. So to be little, go on and off. I hope you all are with me, and let's try to do this, glorification in a way that we appreciate Maharaj better. Uh, so now coming back, all of us know how Radhanath Swami Maharaj has a very much attraction for Mother Ganga, and I was there in Calcutta. Mother Ganga is there, and another place that he visits often and he's very close to his heart is Rishikesh, where Mother Ganga also flows. And there, some years he used to go. I think he's still going to Rishikesh because a lot of yogis come there, and he kind of started his Krishna conscious journey from there. We know journey home he writes beautifully how Mother Ganga blessed him and he got the dress of sadhu there and the attire of sadhu and all those things that are very close to his heart. So he likes to reach out to the public, to the greater world. All people all from all over the world they come there, Rishikesh, and he finds that place is a very nice place to preach Krishna consciousness to all the different people from different countries, sitting at right one point bank of Mother Ganga. Many things happened there also. One is that once we, again coming back to Lord Shiva and Shivratri, once we went to Dev Prayag. It's a place where Mother Bhagirathi Ganga and Mother Alkananda Ganga, the two rivers, they meet there. And from that point onwards, the name Ganga only stays. Then Bhagirathi and Alkananda disappear, only Ganga name remains. A very beautiful place. Lord Ramchandra performed austerities there after killing Ravana because Ravana was a Brahmin. So he performed some tapasya there. Beautiful place. Lord Ram, Sitaram, Lakshman temple is there, very ancient. I believe self-manifested deity. And so all these Western, yogis, they came with Maharaj, their point. So I was there because wherever people go, prasadam is required. So my name, gets joined to the list. So I was also there. I organized their prasadam launch and everything. In a nearby resort, but I had to go to the kitchen and talk to the chefs and devise the menu and tell them how to cook or not to cook and stuff like that. Then I returned back immediately. By the time Maharaj reached, I organized everything and we were in the class. And he spoke again about Lord Shiva. Then he said very interesting thing. Many things I find in his classes which we don't hear much otherwise. He said that all the Kumbh Melas, they actually occur on the confluences of rivers. So just like Trivedi Sangam is the place where the Mahakumbh Mela happens, every 12 years in Prayag, all the rivers meet and the Kumbh Mela happens there. Similarly, in Nasik or in Ujjain, the places are actually some confluences there. But later, because of security, for the safety, the government organized different way to do this, and shift these venues to different places, different ghats. So, just 1 second, excuse me. Sorry. So, in Dev Prayag, he said actually this is the confluence where the Haridwar Kumbh Mela is happening. Is supposed to happen here, the confluence of Bhagirathi and Alaknanda. But that's what is very dangerous. The rivers, the Bhagirathi especially, runs very swiftly, very strongly. The current is very strong. And there's this very small, tiny spot where the two rivers meet. Actually, you can see the waves are clashing against each other. And taking deep in that confluence is very auspicious. So we are there. Then he said, because of the safety and the dangerous point, earlier only sadhus used to come and they used to take dips, but now because of transportation and all, so many people are coming, so they shifted to Haridwar. Haridwar also kind of Ganga is a little bit diverted and then the ghat is made Hariki Podi and people take bath there for the safety, Rishikesh and Haridwar. But that's the point. And he said immediately to all, today is Amavasya, and that that particular year the Kumbha was going on there, and today is the Sahi Snan day. So he has a typical way of exciting people for spiritual activities, and we're all going to take the dips. And all the people who are not willing to take dips in the cold winter and chilled water, it's a little people hesitate to enter. Also, after reaching all the way, you travel all the way, reach, then send the 3 drops and then go. But he has a typical way of exciting people's, for love for Ganga, love for Krishna, and everybody become immediately ready to take the dips. And he also took the dips, and he sat there meditating. And I still remember those beautiful incidents. He sat with just a gamcha and the bare body, sat next to Ganga, uh, and meditating and taking that wind from Mother Ganga on his. And I remember once he was there in Rishikesh. I used to cook his prasadam, and so we know the story that how he meditated on Ganga in Mother Ganga, sitting there for 1 month in a rock every day from sunrise to sunset. It is very, very tough. I mean, I don't know how many of you know the sun. It's very good in the winter morning sometimes, but after 15 or 20 minutes, it will be very difficult to take the sun on our head. Very difficult. I mean, you start a program in an open place, then people will keep searching for a tree to take some shade so that they can sit and hear. Open places is not easy. And on our Mother Ganga, there mountains are all over, but our Ganga, there is no mountains, no shadow. In the middle of the Ganga, there is no shadow. It's all, only cloud can protect, otherwise nothing else. And sitting there from sunrise to sunset is no easy task. And he did that tapasya, and every day he would take 1 carrot or 1 vegetable supper. He would sadhu donate 1 carrot, and that was his subsistence, Ganga water and 1 carrot. And at the end of the 30th, that vow that he took to sit for 30 days, and many things happened. We know he heard the Mahamantra, he heard Om, and he heard so many celestial sounds there. Somebody asked me, how could he hear that? That's a beautiful story, that he let everything go in his life in search of God, in search of Krishna, but he had only one attachment, his harmonica that he used to play. And in Journey Home he writes very wonderfully that how he would express his heart through his harmonica, that feelings, because sometimes you want to talk to people to express your heart, but if nobody's around, how will you do? Because he was a traveler, he was on his own. So he would express those emotions through the harmonica. And it was his companion after leaving everything else in the life, everything. So one day he was sitting on this stone and meditating, and suddenly he remembers about his harmonica. He felt a strong urge to play harmonica. And that strong urge was so strong that he actually left his meditation and walked back to his cave in the mountain. We visited that cave in Rishikesh, a beautiful place overseeing Ganga there. And he searched in his bag and found the harmonica. But as he was picking up, he thought, what is this? For this small piece, I left my meditation. And he carried that back to the spot where he was sitting, but he could not play anymore. I mean, he was overwhelmed by, kind of repenting, why I did this. And then he decides to the harmonica let go. And harmonica was like a friend, like he was speaking to the harmonica. And that you actually served me in so many different ways, different places, but now it's time to be with you. And I've seen, like, he left his parents, he left his very good friend, who was coming with him all the way till one point. I forgot the name of the place, I'm sorry. And then they also depart. He goes to Israel or some other place, and he comes to India. And those are the very different things that happened. But the point is, this was the last companion, and he throws it to Ganga, giving it to Ganga again. And he says, the The harmonica rises in the air, high, and drops like a slow motion. Like a slow motion, it comes down and plop goes into the Ganga, and there it is. So he gave that to Ganga. And in a reciprocation, Mother Ganga, he says, I heard after that incident, some few days later, or maybe same day, I don't remember exactly, that Mother Ganga actually plays a celestial concert he could hear. So that one which was playing for his own, expressing own feelings. So Mother Ganga took it away in one sense. He gave to Mother Ganga, and Mother Ganga, in reciprocation, let him hear celestial sound vibrations. And that's a beautiful story. And he also hears gradually Om and then finally Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So Mother Ganga in many ways, blessed him like her son. Mm. And that Sadhu predicted that you have two mothers, one is Ganga and one is your own mother. So that was fulfilled. And after 30 days of the whole thing, that experience that he took, and writes beautifully in this journey, memory journey home. So he comes out, and somebody gives him 1 or 2 rupees that day as donation. So he decides to buy some peanuts. Peanuts are a very humble food. I mean, peanut is a peanut, there's no demand. But somehow, some humble food also have some apple in it, and people like it. So he decided that I'll have some peanuts. So 1 or 2 rupee, whatever he had, he purchased some pack of peanuts, and he thought he'll take it to the cave and he'll have it whenever he wants to. But on the way, only one monkey snatches it, takes it away. He couldn't eat that. So what I see, pure devotees, they have no complaint against God, or Pandavas, they went through so much miseries, but they never left Krishna. They never kind of felt upset with Krishna that he didn't take care this way or that way. Yeah, sometimes devotee do express, like even Draupadi, she expressed, why you took so time to come to protect me and things like that. And Krishna says, I'm sorry, I was a little late. But it goes to the big point where she is totally helpless. Why I'm your devotee. Why you have to do so much? Even Yudhishthira Maharaj said, if people look at our lives, probably they will not become your devotees. But they never left Krishna, and they served Krishna. So in the same way, I've seen Maharaj. There is no frustration. Oh, finally I got some peanuts and that is also taken away. That kind of thing is not there at all. So he just laughed and that's it. But later when we were there, one day we decided to cook pizza for Maharaj. He's from US, so naturally he grown up with eating certain kind of food, pasta and all this thing. And there is a natural attraction. I would not say the way we eat and plan and eat is different. The way he plans and eats is different. His eating is not like ours. We try to enjoy the food. It's not like that. But then, depending on our upbringing, our body type, certain foods, they're suitable for us a lot. And that's I learned a lot in Ayurveda, and this is one of it. This is called Satmya. That's a different concept. I don't want to go to that. So anyway, so we decided to make some pizza, and you won't believe that day the climate became so good. Usually by the noon time it becomes hot. Sun comes and it becomes hot, even in those month of February, March. But that day, my devotee friend Gaur Govind Prabhu, who was at that time her servant, he would remember these things. He had a small scooter. Somebody shared with him, and he went to the market. And there were some Gurukul kids also who were like Maharaj also took care of them a lot. So they also helped in bringing from the market something, and they got somehow we found some right cheese, vegetarian cheese, and those are the one of the best cheese actually I ever saw in my cooking, pizza and all these years. So the beautiful cheese came, and we had all the ingredients. We had a oven, so we made the pizza, and the climate becomes so suitable, so perfect. Like it was organized divinely. and he sat next to Mother Ganga. There's a beautiful arrangement was there, a small. He was sitting on the floor, but it was like small raised platform. Right, Ganga is flowing next to him, and we offered him pizza, and he was eating with a lot of happiness, not because of pizza, but because of the how Mother Ganga is reciprocating again. You know, he let the he let the mm, the peanuts and everything gone, but then there he was. Krishna is arranging everything, and we are very fortunate to be part of those incidents. And he happily had the pizza, and we are also extremely happy to see that, behold that. So coming back again, there are many things, many stories. I don't know how to connect or do, but we'll just go here and there. So another thing I have seen, so Maharaj, he would very happily honor the prasadam that is offered to Krishna in local places. Like if you study Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he traveled in South India, other places, Kaviraj Goswami says that he ate the local food there, local prasadam. So these are also Ayurvedic concepts are there. I don't want to mix up. My mind is going here and there because of the Ayurvedic knowledge and all. But the point is, eating local is important, and Mahaprabhu used to do that. And when Maharaj would travel to north, he would prefer to eat roti, sabji, things like that. And what Krishna is offered was roti and things like that. So Rishikesh he would prefer, because of the climate and all, he would prefer prasadam, which is roti, sabji, and stuff like that. And when he go to South India, he would happily eat idli, sambar, and all those things. So one time he was traveling from Rishikesh, Dehradun to Bangalore. I think he was going to meet His Holiness Gunagrahi Swami Maharaj, who was in his last months or years, because he got cancer that time. And he's the one actually who taught this pizza that we make in Chopati, and Govinda's restaurant, and WhatsApp I teach also. So it was taught by Gunagrahi Swami Maharaj to His Grace Kaustuv Prabhu, a disciple of Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, who lives in New York. And Maharaj liked that recipe so much, he actually went to his home and spent 2-3 hours learning every detail of how it is made. And he came back and he gave that recipe. That recipe is still with me in his own handwriting. Anyway, so he is the one who is the, acharya of this pizza recipes. So Maharaj was going to see him in Bangalore. And he told Brachandrapu that tell Radha Vallabh to make some idlis. So when I go to Bangalore, I will eat in idlis there, South India. When I reach there, I will eat chapati or paratha, which is easier to carry for Brachandra. And when I reach there, I will eat, Maharaj has very nice ways to keep us engaged. So there is no gaps, no time to do this or that. Stay busy with different services. So he said, tell him to make me idli. So I had to go in the market, run for, in the North India to find a idli cooker also is a very difficult thing in that in Rishikesh. But we found it in a shop. We found the idli makers, then urad dal, everything. And then fermenting is challenging because this climate is cold. But anyway, we managed it. So we went to Bangalore and had it there. I asked Brachandra, did he eat or not? He said, yeah, he had the idlis. So that is something peculiar about. Remembering the same thing in Varsana, we went. Actually, in 2003 or 2 or 3, I were in Vrindavan. I'm not good with numbers or years and all those things. So please excuse me if I made a mistake. So it was Vrindavan Yatra, and the caterers who used to cook, it's very difficult for them also. I always sympathize with the cooks wherever I go, because I know it's tough job, because I have done it. It's tough job to cook and to serve, very tough. So these caterers, when the Maharaj Yatra participants number increased from 500 to 800 to 1000, they were having a tough time to cook. for these people. So what they used to do, they used to start from the night, middle of the night, and start cooking. And Maharaj would take us to different places. By the time we eat lunch, it would be 3, 4. And sometimes I have seen the food would be actually spoiled. You know, it is kind of bad smell, and it was not good. And Maharaj also not feeling comfortable with that. Anyway, it was before we started the Yatra kitchen, but during that time, so the devotees decided that I should be cooking for Maharaj special, because his body is not able to, deal with this kind of prasadam. So it was Radhanat's birthplace. I remember the day. And Suttakirti Prabhu, he came with us to speak about glories of Prabhupada. That's how the star Yatra began, the first day. And I was there. I was like excited. We heard this pastimes of Prabhupada. It was a very fantastic class. Uh, and the first lecture of the Yatra, glorifying Prabhupada. And after that, he was going back because he had some other, engagements, services. So from that point, he was going back. The Yatra was continuing to Gokul, Mahavan, and other places. So then Govind Prabhu calls me that you need to go back to Vrindavan and cook Maharaj Prasad. I said, okay. That was the first time I got instruction to cook for Maharaj in Vrindavan. So rather than his birthplace. So it is very, close to my heart. And as I was, the Suttakirti Prabhu entered the car in the front seat, I was going to back seat. And I was in that car, window frame. Me and Maharaj was saying, okay, you go ahead. And somebody clicked a photo, myself and Maharaj in that frame as a memory. And the first instruction I got. And I started cooking. And that helped Maharaj's health. And then they kept my service. And even in Pune Yatras, all the Yatras, then I started cooking for Maharaj. And I would miss most of the Yatras from that point onwards, because Maharaj will go in the morning, come back, have lunch, and then evening he would give a discourse of, Arati of Radha Damodar and all. But most of the lectures I missed from that point onwards. But later he started giving lecture in the evening. In the evening also, different services would be there in the kitchen before we start the cooking next day. So I would miss, partly I would hear like that. Anyway, but I never felt bad about it, because I got, sorry. Hare Krishna. Somebody got excited, looks like. So, so that point onwards, I used to prepare for Maharaj. And what happened in Pune, I used to cook for Maharaj and all his God brothers, Prabhupada disciples who used to come, Pune Yatra. Lot of memories from there also. But then what happened, these devotees who used to come to our temple, Maharaj would invite them and take them to various places, and Pune Yatra especially would be. Another thing is his love and compassion is not just for his disciples, but it is like for his God brothers, God sisters, Srila Prabhupada, of course, and disciples of other gurus, spiritual masters. He had a room in his heart for everybody. All of us know it. Anand Mohan Prabhu can relate it to very nicely. Krishna Abhishek Prabhu, and recently I was in touch with him here in US. So they all love Radha Swami as their own people. It's not that, their own uncle, God uncle, whatever you can call it. So, so these devotees, proper disciples, many of them had hard times in their, they served Prabhupada very sincerely, very, very sincerely. That's why the ISKCON is expanded, these devotees from the West and those days from India, whatever it is. These devotees, Srila Prabhupada disciples, they worked really, really hard to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. And it's a constant war with Maya living in this world. So they had some hard times, many of them. And when, no, unfortunately, it is something like this, that when people, a victim become Maya or something like that, then others see them as a fallen person, and they forget literally what service is rendered by such and such great people. So Maharaj would systematically invite many proper disciples uh, who had some hard times previously, and make them feel comfortable, feel honored, feel appreciated for what they have done for Srila Prabhupada. And that impression will not only give them in private, but also in public. So that devotees also start appreciating these devotees. Hmm. And these are like some examples, but there are other great devotees like His Holiness Giriraj Swami, His Holiness Devamurti Swami. They would also come. Ah. And in Chopati, the Vyasasana is I think this is the largest Vyasasana, because I traveled a lot of places in Europe, US, other places. I have not seen such a big Vyasasana anywhere. You would imagine it's a huge Vyasasana, because so many proper disciples can sit simultaneously. Yeah, you would invite the God sisters also to sit next to him in those asanas and speak glories of Prabhupada, glories of Krishna. So in this way, he honored them a lot, and that inspired us a lot as devotees who were growing up devotees. So it inspired us a lot, because when you see that your superiors are in very good terms, are happy, they're connecting with each other very nicely, then that gives a lot. Not just like in a family, even the parents, father, mother, and uncles, if they live happily with a strong, loving bond, that gives a lot of mental strength, and in the kids to grow happily. So this is very, very significant that I have seen in our own life, that how the relationship between Maharaj and Godbrothers inspired us a lot to stay in ISKCON, to serve Radha, Gopinath and all the devotees happily. And so these devotees who were in Pune, at other places, I used to cook for them. But when they came to Chopati, there was some difficulty with their prasad, with their Western body. Uh, and they cannot handle the strong spices that our cooks used to cook. They used to cook in their own style. Some of them are Bengali cooks, and they used to have their spices and all. So that would not suit their body. So it became so much that they actually once visited Maharaj together. And time and again, it kept coming back to Maharaj's ears, that he kept hearing from them, that they actually said, glorified Maharaj. They said, your temple is so nice, the devotees are so nice, the preaching programs are so great, the guest hospitality is so good. Maharaj would actually go and check if their mosquito nets are there or not, they're clean or not, bed or clean or, because um, we were living in ashram, and we had no idea how to, we have experienced cleanliness, and our mother parents, they would take care of us. So uh, sleep in a nice place and all. But to properly honor a guest, like in a like good hotels, they have good arrangements, organized beds and boards and things like that. So Maharaj would train the guest department devotees how to exactly take care of everything, including their mosquito net, and they're clean or not, and how the rooms will be clean or not, and the bathroom, toilets, everything. Uh, Not only for the guests, actually, I just remember, my memory goes back and forth. So for even the devotees, the guests who come, we had a public toilet system. So Maharaj said, make it nice, make it comfortable. People should not feel just run out of this place. Come on, somehow, if you can't control yourself, then just somehow you have to go there and run out of it. No, it should be nice, clean, and kind of welcoming. So the devotees did all those things, everything. Then Maharaj said, okay, let me go and check it. So when I opened the tap, there is a small, tiny hole was there. Some water was coming and leaking out like this, top. And Maharaj said, what is this? People come to pass, and this will reciprocate your what? So make it sure that it is, high class, and there is no any faults. So Every aspect. It's not just any new guest comes, they have to go to the toilet, right? And he used to say us that we are all servants. So anybody who walks into the temple, they're Radha Gopinath's guest, and we are all Radha Gopinath's servant. So Radha Gopinath guest has to be given a lot of prestige, honor, and care that a guest deserves. The guest of Krishna deserves. So anybody who walks in is Radha Gopinath's guest. I think this story extends back to his time in Vrindavan when he came as a young man in late 19s or early 20. He was in Vrindavan. Maybe he was 19 or 20, just 20 out of teens. And the Ghanasham Baba, who was the Pujari of the Radha Gopijana Vallabh, who was actually a prince from Rajasthan who took to sainthood. He became a natural saint because he had his attraction for Krishna. He didn't leave Vrindavan. He stayed there. And they used to give him Madhukari, one or two rotis, and when Maharaj would walk in, he would say, "You are Gopijana Vallabh's friend. Your Gopijana Vallabh friend has come. So Gopijana Vallabh is offering his prasadam to you. So you eat." So Maharaj said, "No, there's only two rotis. You're an old man. You should be eating. Why you should come?" But he would force him in many deceitful ways. He would actually make him eat those rotis, and he would feel very much a lot of love. And I think those experiences, and he himself, because he could feel those experiences, he would say that Radha Gopinath is any guest coming is Radha Gopinath's. That's how the guest department. So all these devotees, proper disciples, they would experience this hospitality that Maharaj was carrying in his heart through the servants, through the devotees, the brahmacharis and other devotees would help. And even many congregation boys would come and assist these brahmacharis, and wonderful. So they said everything is nice except one thing, that is prasadam. So somebody should remind me about the timing, please. If I
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you. So they said everything is fantastic, but prasadam we can't digest. We have difficulty. Then Maharaj became very serious about devotee kitchen, and he used to have meetings after meetings. And then he went to Calicut for there was some kind of problem, and he had to take a 1 month treatment there. Whereas Murari Gupta Prabhu was the doctor. He went with him. Gaurang Prabhu, Govind Prabhu both went because it is critical, some very serious kind of. But it's over now. There's no problem now. But those time it was serious. So all the senior devotees, Gaurang Prabhu, Govinda Prabhu, this Dr. Murari Gupta, I think Prachandra Prabhu was servant. I think Prachandra Prabhu. Like that, they all went, but they did not take me because the team was already too large. And the Ayurvedic people are very specific about the diet. They may not allow me to cook things like that. So I was left behind. But within 1 or 2 days, they're calling me. Gaurang Prabhu called me. He said, "You take the flight and come here." And that was 2 years after probably I traveled to UK and Italy to learn pizza. Maharaj told me to go and do the research and all. So I did those things. And from UK to Italy, I traveled alone and took different flights. Not country people who are not speaking English, but that was adventurous. I took that instruction of Maharaj, and it was all good. Anyway, so I said, "Okay, you want me to come? So anybody coming to pick me up from the airport?" And Prabhu says, because there are lots, team was very small. He said, "You travel all over places alone. Just take a cab. I'm giving the address. You come here straight." So I had to carry all the utensils from Chapati temple, and they gave me a pillow for Maharaj, which has some magnetic coils in it for his blood circulation and all. Some people give different kind of things. So I had to carry that pillow also. And when I was going to security, passing, I was saffron and shaven head and all those things. And the scanner, they stop it because it was in my bag. Maharaj's paraphernalia, so I was carrying in my handbag. So the security calls me like this because he was surprised. What is this guy is carrying in saffron and all? So he calls me, he shows me in his screen, say, asking, what is this? So I didn't know what it was. Then I was kind of thinking, scratching my head. Then suddenly I remembered that pillow might have something. Oh, there is a pillow that has magnets in it. Then I said, they let me go. I reached there, and there also Maharaj would discuss about this devotee kitchen a lot. And I didn't know, but they have decided that they'll put me in the devotee kitchen. But then who'd cook for Maharaj? Because devotee kitchen cooking for 200 chapati every day, lunch is 200, 250 people. And breakfast is around 120, 130. And dinner also includes, college preaching, khichdi, and so many things. Gita course, so many things happen, so many seminars. And the kitchen is a really, really busy place. So if they put me there as taking care of all the cooking, then who's going to cook for Maharaj? So the discussion was going back and forth, and finally they said, you will cook for devotee kitchen, because that's the only way. Maharaj said you have to. So then they told me, then you have to let Maharaj cooking go. I was not willing to do that. I said, I can manage both. I mean, I can cook there and come back and make Maharaj lunch. So what's the problem? Then they said, no, Maharaj actually was telling, look at it. He was actually, after a long time, he was taking prasadam from different devotees' hand, and it was not good for his health. And the Ayurvedic doctor also spoke about it a lot. So finally, he got somebody who can cook steadily for him in Mumbai. I was in Mumbai mostly, cooking for Maharaj. So one hand cooking, and that suited Maharaj, would be good for his health. And it was all going good. He was happy, I was happy, everybody was happy. But then this decision would mean that he has to sacrifice his own comforts and sacrifice and allow me to go. And doesn't matter. He said, whatever you guys cook in the kitchen, I will eat that. So in that way, both is met. But then I told Maharaj, in kitchen, for example, the quality of ghee and other things. Of course, we cannot use hand churned ghee for all the devotees. It's very tough. First of all, to get the quantity every day, and the quality. Coming back to ghee again, the brahmacharis were having prasadam for a long time, and there was no ghee on the chapatis or anything like that at one point of time. Then Maharaj said, these devotees are giving their life to us, to the movement. Can't we give them some ghee? So when I entered devotee kitchen, it was already blessed by Maharaj, and I never had any scarcity of any ingredients. Like I was like a king, I would say, I want this, I want that, everything would come. And that made me a spoiled cook in many sense. But anyway, so Maharaj was sacrificing his own comfort to let me cook. So I told Maharaj, and Govinda Gauranga was there. I said, Maharaj, the ingredients we use in the devotee kitchen may not be very high quality, and your body is very sensitive to this different, ingredients, and you travel a lot. Your body requires right nourishment. So at least little hand chunk ghee will be good for you. And those ingredients in the devotee kitchen is not so, not that high quality. They're good, but not high quality. So then Gauranga said, probably he's attached to his your service, Maharaj. Let him do whatever he wants to do. So they said, okay. So I used to cook for devotee kitchen and come back, run back and cook for Maharaj, and that went on. But the point is, he would care list for himself. I remember once His Holiness Sridhar Swami, now his samadhi is in Mayapur, facing Srila Prabhupada Samadhi. Wonderful personality and wonderful devotee, but he had differences of opinions with Maharaj, that why you are holding all the brahmacharis in one place, not letting them go out in different countries and preach. They're so good, they have so much of vast knowledge. Why they're just holding them in one place? But Maharaj was protecting us a lot. He was protecting us like kids, children. He would not let people go and then kind of and then leave us and things like that. So he would protect a lot. So he was of a difference of opinion that you should not do this. Let them go. Probably let all of us go and preach. What is this? So there is an opinion difference but then they are very good friends. So once Maharaj invited him, and he comes, he says, I'm going to stay here tonight. But there were no proper guest rooms to honor a Swami. So what Maharaj did, Maharaj said, the devotees, that you arrange for his stay in my room, and I will sleep in the temple hall. Temple hall is the place where we used to sleep. We literally had no, the temple was our sleeping place, our service place, everything was temple hall, more or less. So Maharaj comes and sleeps in the temple hall and let Sridhar Swami sleep in his room. And then Gaurang Prabhu, who used to preach and come late in the night, he returns around 11:30, and Maharaj happens to sleep right the spot where he used to sleep every day night, those days. So Gaurang Prabhu comes, he says, hey, who's there? Who's sleeping in my spot? Kaun hai? Then the reply comes, Radhanath Swami, in a grave voice. Maharaj says, Radhanath Swami. Then he gets lost of his life. He moves away, sleeps somewhere else. But then you see how simple and down to earth, he just let his god brother experience better happiness and allow. So this was always his field. So then again, his god brothers, they were having difficulty with prasadam. He wanted to let me go and cook, but not worry about himself. And all these years that I have cooked for him, believe it or not, I don't remember a time when he would tell me, Radha Vallabh, can you cook this for me? Or can you cook that for me? Never I asked even once. Like sometimes we go to devotees' home and take prasadam. They ask, what is your diet? Any restriction? Things like that they ask. And I don't know about others, but at least myself, I have a tendency to tell, okay, can you make this or can you make that? So that not only we relish, but also we get health and things like that. But I was his personal, cook, servant, and he has all rights to do, ask me whatever he wants. And not only that, I will be happy to do those things, right? Somebody asks you, can you make this? It's a joy to perform that, execute that. But he never asked. Never asked. People ask me, what is his favorite? I said, I don't know. I don't know what's his favorite. It's very tough. So once we are going in a car, again, this proper disciples, there's all this happening, stories are from those time, around same years. So I was in the car and sitting behind all the way back. And Maharaj was sitting, and His Holiness Chandalamani Swami was there. His Holiness Niranjan Swami was there, and I think his Grace Trai Prabhu, proper disciple, he was there. And they were discussing what is the favorite prasadam. And when Swamis, they discuss about prasadam. So which is your favorite prasadam, like that? The discussion, somehow it came. And Niranjan Swami says, if I remember these stories, he says, pizza is my favorite. Then they said, why pizza? It's because I can eat it every day. So I said, wow, that's interesting. And then Chandramani Swami said, then khichdi is my favorite because I can eat it every day. And Trai Prabhu said something like that, pasta or something, I don't remember exactly. And Maharaj was sitting next to the window, the side seat, and he was looking outside into it was like streets of Bombay. He was looking outside. And he was in the discussion, but he was not in the discussion in one sense because he was looking outside. And then all three of them turns to Maharaj expecting what is his favorite. So they asked Maharaj, what is your favorite? And Maharaj kept looking through the window outside. He didn't turn his head back or something like that. Like looking outside, he's saying, my favorite is dal. Then I was thinking, what kind of favorite is this, dal? It's something that somebody releases so much. You can say, pizza or pasta or stuff. Even khichdi makes sense. But dal is something very, very humble thing. I don't know why, but what I feel is because he traveled so much in North India as a sadhu, and devotees different ashrams he had dal, and I think that's a memory, and he likes the dal. I calculated like that. Then I realized that every day, even if I cook khichdi, I'd always cook dal for Maharaj. Nobody eats dal with khichdi, right? Khichdi has dal already in itself. So there is no need of any dal. Like curry, I can make sense. Curry or some raita. Those are the things that can really go with khichdi nicely, but dal, nobody. But you would have his khichdi in the lunch, some sabjis, and in the end, he would drink dal, a bowl of dal he would drink. So maybe then I realized, then I connected, maybe that's what his favorite. And he also used to like sambar a lot. This is my favorite sambar, which is like, again, dal item only. Anyway, I'm just speaking my experience. Don't, these are the things, don't just, oh, okay, whenever he comes to your place or some places, make sure you have dal, but that's okay. Dal is always there anyway. You don't have to exclusively plan for it. So that's how I came to know something that he likes. Another time, in a Prarana class, one student, because he gives classes, the students, they become very excited and happy and get connected. As he's a new person, and he didn't even know how to say, to address Maharaj as Maharaj. He was saying Prabhu or something like that. And he asked Maharaj, what is your favorite dish, favorite sweet, or something like that. Favorite sweet, he asked. What is your favorite dish or favorite sweet, something like that. Favorite sweet, he asked. So everybody laughed, and they're like, kind of, what kind of question is this? But people look forward to Maharaj to speak answer to that question. Maharaj says, I like that sweet. You can eat any time of the day, any place, any time, and you can eat as much as you like. You eat as much as you like, still will not get diabetes or any heart problem. So that's the healthiest food you can think of. Then he says that is Krishna's holy name. That was really such a nice answer. I never thought that somebody can answer like this. When you speak about food, you think of food only, right? In our ashram, I remember we used to have Ishtagosti. Ishtagosti means how the things are going on, kind of meeting. We're keeping Krishna in the center. Ishta is Krishna. Gosti means coming together, having conversation, meeting. So keeping Krishna in the center, we discuss various issues or some problems or this or that, so that we maintain our sanity while discussing and at the same time address the issues. And sometimes the discussion will be about prasadam, and other discussion would have a beginning and an end, okay? And people would want to get rid of it as quickly as possible so that they can go to the different services and get relief of these, issues in life. But when prasadam issue would come, the discussion would never end. It will just go on for it will drag on at least half or 40 minutes more than schedule it is. I remember those days. So when we discuss about food is the only thing that is in our mind. Of course, we should see in prasadam Krishna more, and the taste or flavor or and those things are for the pleasure of Krishna, right? They should be there. They should be made rightly. But at the same time, we should see Krishna's love more in that, right? So when you speak about food, what is the favorite sweet? All the sweets will flood our head, right? But he was thinking about Krishna, and that was really, really amazing. Uh, I was cooking for him in the kitchen at that time, because whenever he would give a Sunday Fest class, after Sunday Fest, he would be having his lunch. So I'd be cooking and listening to him while cooking. It's a beautiful experience, wonderful experience. You hear him live and cook for him. It's like a wonderful blessings that Krishna and Maharaj himself, he gave me that opportunities those many years. Wonderful experience. And I would ask nobody to be around while I'm cooking. And some devotees would help me later. In the initial years, I was handling everything, but later devotees would assist in Maharaj's cooking. So they will be cutting or whatever they do. Then by the time I come to cook, they leave. I just alone cook the items. Not many. Maharaj was eating very simple food, simple prasadam. In Mayapur, once the doctor insisted that he must eat from whatever we cook, the servants, and not from so many other places, because that will affect his health, because he is going through critical health issues. So Maharaj said, okay, then you bring khichdi. If I eat khichdi in front of everybody, nobody is going to mind. And I'm not going to eat in lavish food. Others are served so many different items, but I'll be eating khichdi, so that's okay. And that went on for some time. So we used to cook khichdi and send, and the servers used to serve him khichdi. So his prasadam usually they're very simple, not very elaborate or luxurious kind of food. So I would be able to handle it. So I was thinking that Prana class, he was saying all these answers. I was thinking, I never thought even about cooking sweets for him. He never ate, I never cooked sweets for him. I cooked tons of sweets for, for our deities, Radha Gopinathji. Gaurang Prabhu sent us to, Gaurang Prabhu sent me to many places to learn many cooking. That was his, blessings, his mercy, that he wanted how to engage effectively. I'm not a good manager, but I'm artistic and I have certain talents. And he, nicely engaged me. I went to Mayapur also to learn from Radha Madhav kitchen, from the bakery they have, Pankaj Prabhu. They actually very graciously, gave us the opportunity to learn things there. And Prabhupada kitchen also. Srila Prabhupada kitchen is a wonderful kitchen there. The devotees, Sasanka Prabhu, very nice brahmachari. He also trained me how to cook Bengali cuisines. Of course, Anangman Prabhu is the prime most Bengali cooking guru. Very happily, lovingly helped and taught me many things in cooking for Maharaj. But whenever Maharaj would come to Calcutta, I have no chance. And there is no question of me cooking. It's Anandmohan. And Anandmohan would serve so elaborately with clay plates and clay bowls. And that site itself, the Maharaj comes, sits there, and to honor Prasad, the site itself is so amazing environment he would create that before you even eat, you would be digesting, something like that. So much of love, affection, something that I have to still learn. Anangman Prabhu is wonderful in that way. And Maharaj would eat. So one time he ate so much of this prasadam that Anangman cooked so many varieties, 30, 40, I don't know how many, that he became a little sick. Then he said, call Radha to make some steamed vegetables for me. So only once in Calcutta, I remember, only once in Calcutta, I made some steamed vegetable, not any elaborate things, which Maharaj had to eat for that day. So that was once. So I was thinking Maharaj never asked, but whenever there is a sickness like this, finally he had to say, but otherwise never. Anyway, so coming back, in Mayapur also, he would love to eat. Bhakti Chara Swami would invite him, and a lot of devotees cook. He would happily, relish those. In Mayapur, I would, if I get 2 or 3 days to cook for Maharaj, that would be like great blessings. Otherwise, there's so many invitations devotees would call, and he would not be able to say no to people. So mostly proper disciples, and 14, 15 days is not a big time. It would just pass quickly. Of course, we used to make dinner and all, but then Daram Prabhu's good wife, Brahmanjali Mataji, she would always ask me, can I cook tonight? Can I cook tonight? And it's a bit difficult for me to say no also. And Maharaj would love her cooking. So all these things are happening. Wonderful. Anyway, so I lost where I was. Anyway, let's start something new. Oh yeah, the sweets I was speaking about. So I never knew that Maharaj's favorite sweet is what, because he never, because doctor said no to sweet, no to sugar, so no, that's all. So I never cooked sweets for him. I never even thought about cooking sweets for him. And this random person is asking about what's favorite sweet is Maharaj. And Maharaj said, Krishna's holy name is the best sweet that I relish. And no matter how much you eat, there is no diabetes, no health recur persons, And then in the end, he adds, just to satisfy that boy, because he asked a question, I don't know how sensitive Maharaj, I really like these things. This guy is asking what is your favorite sweet, and you speak about Krishna's holy name and end it there. It doesn't, that person who asked the question, when it felt fulfilled and satisfied. So in the end, he adds just one line. By the way, halwa is my favorite sweet. I don't know whether That's his answer. I don't go into the details. So that is halwa. He used to make malpua in Govardhan services, Govardhan Puja. Used to make this malpua. Is very beautiful. I had some opportunity to honor those prasadam, Govardhan, annakut cooking and all yatras. And the halwa that we make in Chopati, I think Radhanath Swami Maharaj himself trained Govinda Prabhu, and Govinda Prabhu trained, I think, Srinandanandan Prabhu, who was in our charge of cows and calves in the GV. That's his main service. That he had many other services, but that's just one of his service. And later we learned from them. I don't remember exactly from who I learned it, but it came down like that. And Damodar Prabhu later, he actually refined those recipes very nicely, sweet recipes. He was looking after all the yatra sweets and all this cooking, so sweets cooking. So he refined a lot. He did a lot of refined experiments. So the halwa that we have now, the recipes, which Damodar Prabhu refined after Maharaj, the one sweat pineapple halwa, is coming from Radhanath Swami Maharaj. And then I related, and Maharaj likes halwa. So once we cooked little halwa for him in the lunch, and he honored it also after that day. Only once. Anyway, so this is how Maharaj was satisfying that devotee who asked that question. And he reciprocated with that particular new devotee. And coming back in Mayapur again, Prem-Manjari Mataji used to cook Maharaj a lot of prasadam. And one day she calls me and she tells me that Maharaj said something, glorification for cooking, and she was happy to share with me because we all cook for him. And how the whole incident happened, she was telling me, it's very interesting. Her son, Kanjanetra, he was still younger. I mean, still he's just a young boy now, but those days he was still like a boy in shorts, I would say. So Maharaj would call him and tell your mother that I really like the cooking very much, and she's the best cook of the universe. And he would go and tell her that Maharaj said like that, and she would say, tell Maharaj, blessings, thanks, we're very happy to serve, it doesn't matter, things like that. He would come back and report it to Maharaj, and then Maharaj would say something, and he would go back and like back and forth, and finally Maharaj said, you are the best cook of the universe. It was not in the beginning, if I remember it correctly. And then Kanjanetra, he's such an intelligent and nice boy. And he's straightforward, probably like his father. So he says, Maharaj, to how many people you have said like this, that you are the best cook of the universe? And then he says, no. Actually, I'm sorry. The right thing he says is, Maharaj, have you ever said anything wrong about anybody's cooking? That is even more refined questions, It's like putting Maharaj in a spot, checkmate. And Maharaj laughs. And such an interesting question, because actually Maharaj appreciates everybody in that sense. So Maharaj tells, I used to find fault with my mother's cooking. And this is a perfect answer, because we don't say anything to her, but mother we say, right? I didn't like this, I didn't like that, all kind of complaint we make. So Maharaj instantly is so intelligent and so perfect. He answered that question. I mean, I would have been probably, bowled by Kanjanetra in that questions. That's like too good question. I said, defeat, I accept. But Maharaj says, my mother. I used to tell this to my mother, you're not the best cook or whatever. And it's a glorification of mother also, because that's where we can express our heart the best. And then when she was saying all this thing, because Maharaj also told me at one point, you are the best cook of the universe. I felt a little insecure. He said, what, my position is gone or something like that. She's the best, you know. But I was not expressing to her because I was feeling this will disappoint her, that I am also, because I'm feeling a little disappointment. I thought she might feel, so I didn't say this to her. And then she only said, Maharaj may be saying so many others that you are the best cook of the universe. So I don't take it very seriously. How is it so? Then I said, no, there are so many universes. Actually, I was referring to myself, to make myself comfort, that I started speaking philosophy. We have Krishna conscious philosophy is so good. It can answer all the questions in different ways. I said, there are so many universes. You are best cook of one of those universes. And in my mind, I was thinking, in another universe, I am the best cook. Trying to console me. But the point is, it's not how good we are or how best we are. It's the point is how he appreciates from his heart so well, so good, that it inspires you to serve him and Krishna more and more and more. Mm. I mean, I have cooked for so many devotees, so many places. People have appreciated a lot. From my days in IIT, when I used to cook with our small base, what started, and every Saturday I used to cook a feast. But believe it or not, I used to cook the same dishes every week, same sabji, same dal, same kind of pulao, and same sweet rice and same roti or whatever. Same menu, no change. And by 1 week of eating in mess other places, they were so frustrated. By the time they come back, they would see it as a new menu every if it's a new menu or something, they would eat it with so much excitement and happiness. And these devotees from IIT. Anyway, so those are my initial days before I started cooking for Maharaj. But my point is, but you receive a lot of feedback also, negative feedback about salt, sweet, chilies. So I would say you feed people in their mouth, you feed, and then feedback comes. It comes from comments and because if it is good, that's the way the world is. Actually, unfortunately, our conditioned souls. So we are. I'm not a exception to that. If everything is good going, actually there's a lot of effort that goes behind, and we don't see those things. But the bad things, we immediately notice it. That's the way it is. There are 5 items which are very well cooked and things like that. But one item is little burnt, people will speak about that. I hope I'm not exaggerating, right? Uh, so that's how it is. But Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he would see the good. I'm not just speaking about cooking, I'm speaking about everything else, every aspect of life. He would see the good, and he would find, like Prabhupada used to do the same, fan it, and make it a growing desire. Then all the faults naturally vanishes in that fire later, because you refine yourself so much in the service, in all kind of aspects of service. So I cooked devotees and they appreciated, things like that happened, but I never got an inspiration the way he inspired me to cook. It was like amazing. The first time I cooked for him, Govind Prabhu actually, very, I'm grateful to him. He engaged me, and I'm very grateful to Radhanath Swami Maharaj for accepting me for the services. So the very first time I cooked some khichdi for Maharaj, and he used to always sit with brahmacharis and eat prasadam. I mean, today, later, because his schedule changed, 1 or 2, 3, 4 years, maybe he is not able to do it, but he'll try to, especially on festival days is coming down. But for years and years and years, every day morning, every day afternoon, he would sit with brahmacharis and eat his prasadam. And and very happily, with compassionate eyes, you look at all the brahmacharis eating nicely. That would give me a lot of satisfaction, sitting there and eating and hearing Prabhupada's katha. And he would eat simple food, his khichdi and one sabji dal. And Brahmachari would be eating like varieties of prasadam, plus Rajbhog Mahaprasad would come, that also so many sweets, so many varieties. Would be like kind of enjoying the food. Like one of the best prasadam in Chowpatty, actually. You get hot chapatis online, puffed chapatis in a plate. Yeah, so those are the uh, kind of things still going on. But Maharaj would be eating very simple prasadam and happily glancing at every brahmacharis eating happily. And he would wait for brahmacharis to finish. He would eat few items, it will get over in 10 minutes maybe. And afterwards, he just sit and watch everybody eating. And when we finish, then the recitation of Prabhupada's Katha, Lilamurti would stop. Then everyone would chant Jai Jai Sri Radhe Shyam. Then Maharaj would get up for washing his hands. And after he goes, then we all get up. So, but the first time then I saw this Kechudi Prasad Maharaj, and I was standing little away, waiting, hoping what Maharaj, feedback will be. So he just came, he was so happy. He just looked at me and smiled and did his head like this in happiness. And that one gesture made me so happy that my flair, my taste for cooking. No, cooking is a humble service. I mean, Gaurangpu, he's a big manager, but he used to come to kitchen to cook with us. And I used to tell him, Prabhu, we'll take care of this thing. You have all these great services. Why you are toiling here with us, Of course, he was coming to give me protection also from different managerial issues and operational issues. Without that, I would not have been performed what I performed. There's no doubt about it. But I would say, in my own honesty, on my simplicity, I would say, Prabhu. But he would say no, because I get stressed in the meeting. Kitchen I come, I relieve from the all this stressful situation I cook. So cooking is also, when one sense, is pleasurable experience. Many devotees, after we started cooking, many devotees took interest in kitchen services also. But otherwise, it's a very humble service, and not many people would show interest. Preaching and speaking Krishna consciousness, attracting different souls, and distributing a lot of books. These are all the great activities that a person would like to take interest in, right? And it's natural. And here I was, but he inspired me so much, and I think that's his greatness. That make any service appear very wonderful. As a service to Krishna, service to devotees, service to guests. So many people used to come and eat. So these are services to all of them. So he would make it so wonderfully, interesting and inspire you in such a way that we're like, what do you call, heads over shoulder, or standing on the head, upside down, and do any madness. So yes, then we got involved in the kitchen very intensely. And as I was saying in the beginning, the yatras where the prasadam caterers, people, they were having tough. They had a lot of difficulty, because it's not easy to cook for so many people. So then our management decided that we should start cooking for yatras. And Maharaj was very happy to encourage us and everything. And we wanted to do a pilot scale in Pune Yatra, because Pune Yatra was not as crowded as Kartik Yatras. So we thought we'll start in Pune. If it works, then we'll do it in Kartik Dham Yatras. So we went to Pune, and I was very, optimistic person, and sometimes people find it difficult to accommodate. But I said, we'll make pasta for all of these devotees. And we had some experience, like Madhavacharya Prabhu and other devotees, they helped me to make the sauce, lot of sauce, because, 600, 700, 800 devotees probably that time, 800, 900 devotees, maybe 1,000, I don't know. 2007 or 8, the year. Last 2 Pune Yatras we cooked. Then Pune Yatra stopped because so many people came that that was beyond the management, and it was very difficult. It is one of the best yatras, very unique. Anyway, so we cooked pasta and other things, and it became successful. Yeah, I remember the next time, one time our Vasudev Prabhu, he organized a whole kitchen on the roof terrace because people are so all over, so there was no place to cook. So in the garage, there is a huge garage in Mapatal Bungalow in Pune. So the garage rooftop is the place where we used to go. Here are these forklifts to carry things up and down. Wonderful, out of the box thinking, and it was success. And some mishap also happened in those yatras. I will not go to that. I will focus on Maharaj. So once that happened, then in yatras, I think Bundavan Yatra was started in Bundavan only, the first hour cooking. And Radhaduti Prabhu, Dauji Prabhu, they were in charge of purchase that time. Later Tulsi Priya Prabhu became the purchase in charge. So they used to bring me different rices and ask me to choose and things like that. It was a wonderful experience, exciting, adventurous. And we cooked for the devotees and it became success. And Maharaj would every day he would eat whatever we would cook. And I didn't have to cook for him separately. He would cook like that. He would eat whatever we used to cook. And after that, I would be so tired, I would not be able to manage also for cooking for Maharaj. But later, last few years in yatras, 2 years or 3 years, again Maharaj's health became a concern. So I used to cook after yatra cooking within the kitchen. There is a small kitchen Damodar Prabhu would organize. And I'd cook for Maharaj few items, which he used to eat. Anyway, so coming back, so he inspired us so much. That this yatra kitchen, we used to cook so many varieties of prasadam. Even today, Srinivai Prabhu, everybody is looking after it. This year, Vrindavan Yatra, I could not be. And I really miss those service opportunities. But then he inspired to such a level that we would be managed to cook so many different cuisines, like even Chinese, even Thai, Italian, North Indian, South Indian, Bengali, East Indian, different type of recipes we have gathered and we used to cook. And devotees would relish. And again, every day he would come during a japa time, he would come and roam in the kitchen that we used to serve. And sometimes he would come that nobody would be there. Only I will be there because after breakfast, there is a break for some time. But I would stay back to do the lunch preparation, everything in place so that lunch cooking is not hampered. So I would stay back in the kitchen. Once I come in the kitchen, I would stay till the end production. So Maharaj would come, so I'll be there. If Gaurang Prabhu was there, he would take him, explain him all the things. Then they would discuss management also in the kitchen. Anyway, but sometimes he would not be there, so I'll be there. So he'll come, but I'm not manager. I don't speak much, and he knows that very well. So he'll just come and hug me very nicely and give a lot of blessings, and go away. And those blessings are a lot of inspiration to do what we are doing there, the crazy things. Once he came, every day would come to the kitchen, every day without fail. And these ladies who come from Belgaum and other places to make chapatis, they would sing constantly kirtan and do the chapatis. We would set up the dough quality and how much salt and things like that. Once I've decided that, they would be cooking, singing beautiful kirtan, and Maharaj would come, look at them, give them some happiness and hold hand. Actually, Maharaj, once I was in Mayapur, me and Vasudev Prabhu were there. So there was a small event, a program in this Samadhi area. I think Tamal Krishna Goswami's Maharaj disappearance day celebration, something like that. And so we're standing outside Topal Samadhi on the road. So Maharaj comes out, then he looks at us, then he folds his hand and does like this to us, both of us. And we pay obeisances in return, and then he smiles and he goes. And then Vasudev says, have you ever thought of your guru, paying you obeisances like this? Have you ever thought of like that? I said, no, this person is an amazing person. A disciple supposed to offer, but he comes out so blissful, so happy. He just does like this to us. Wonderful person he is. And so there's so many things. And once it happened like that, I was cooking in the devotee kitchen, 6:30. So I'll stop in a few minutes. Maybe we'll have some question and answers. So after taking devotee kitchen seva, Sunday feast were cooking khichdi for the breakfast, and we had big steamer, the steams that boil dal and rice and together. And when the khichdi becomes thick in the pot, if you boil, they throw off like top karke, comes out all over and scatters. And it's very hot also. So I saw that. I went to move the lever, that key, so that the steam reduces the flow and the khichdi settles down. But for a moment, I forgot which direction is on, which direction is like in a gas burner. You have like this, you go clockwise, more anti-clockwise, less, like that. But that was like this horizontal. So I didn't know exactly. For the moment, I missed it. So instead of decreasing, I increased it. And the steams are very powerful, like steam engine, they run the whole train. Used to. Nowadays, there are no steam engines are there. But the steams are very powerful. So the khichdi kind of exploded. Boom. It just came out. And I moved back. But before I moved back, I knew what went wrong. I put it the other side. But by the time one explosion already happened, and I moved back, the whole khichdi came and fell right on my right feet. It was very hot, extremely super heated. And immediately devotees came, and the staff is so cordial, so nice. I had very good opportunity to serve with a wonderful team actually. I must appreciate these cooks, even welcome these ladies. Let me tell you that, then I'll come back to this. The ladies, they are not so wealthy people. Krishna's taking care of them very well, I'm sure. But then as a responsibility, our Yatra committee and Yatra management organizes their tickets to come to Vrindavan, their stay, prasadam of course, and they will do the service. They will do the service. And we'll take care of their tickets and their stay like that. And one day we give them off so that they can go to the various places in a bus to see the places. These are the things that we arrange. And in the end, we thought we should give them some remuneration also, like, some kind of token remuneration, so that they feel happy and satisfied, that they earn some money also. So it was decided that Radha Gopinath was telling this past time yesterday. So then they actually came back. Maharaj was there, and they came back. They said, we can't take this money because if we take, then we'll feel not happy about it. I mean, we have done service so selflessly. Once even Gaurav told me, you are serving in Kartik, month of Kartik, and so many Vaishnavas, great punya. But I never thought about it that way. We, like, Maharaj inspired us in such a way, like these ladies and myself also similar experience, that it is not for punya or for this. It is a pure service to Radhanath Swami Maharaj's desire. This is his desire that devotees should be taken care. They should get good prasadam. The cattle are not able to handle, and hot, fresh prasadam on time, in the right way, right place. And he used to serving. Earlier in yatras, we used to actually take buckets of prasadam and serve to devotees while they're sitting. No buffet, because buffet means you take a prasadam, there is no second service. You have to come back. And who wants to come up from the middle of the eating and come back for a little dal or something? It's tough. But later the number grew so much that Maharaj had to accept the buffet system with the second counter. But earlier he used to say, let people, devotees, sit in rows, and others would go and serve. And this serving also, he inspired so much that people would be inspired to come just to serve, and without caring for their own prasadam. I remember once Maharaj was giving lecture in Vrindavan, and it was going long and long and long, the first lecture probably. It was not ending, and the launch was getting delayed, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. then after some time we saw there's a big queue outside the prasadam hall. So somebody from outside who was there listening to the lecture, and I think he told Shamananda Prabhu or somebody that looks like these devotees are very hungry. The katha is still going on, but they're standing in queue. It looks like they're hungry now. Then Shaman Prabhu corrects him. He says, no, they're not standing for prasadam, they're standing for serving. Because if they don't stand now, later they'll not get a chance to serve. Can you imagine? So they're standing in queue to serve and hearing the lecture at the same time. That means they're the last to it and standing, not even sitting. So this is the kind of inspiration he gives to devotees to serve. And these ladies, they say, no, we can't take this money. And Maharaj was so touched and so happy with them, their recipe. But I would say that's all being said and apart. People have their needs, economic needs, and that should be fulfilled without, worrying about the details. I mean, that is also a kind of things I believe that the ladies, this should be given. Anyway, so that was about so these yatra events, and certain things came to my mind. I'm again forgetting. So let's try to go on. Anyway, so yeah, so Maharaj actually inspired us to such an extent that our services
What
were
happened with the khichdi?
Sorry, Prabhu?
What happened with hot khichdi on your feet?
Oh, yeah,
What
yeah.
happened with the hot khichdi
Actually,
on your feet
yeah,
afterwards?
I remember now. Yeah, let's get back to that. So actually, it was a bad burn. For some time, I continued to serve in the kitchen. I said Sunday feast, I should be there. But then inside, my body was actually shaking from within. It was so badly, affected. My body was shaking inside. Then I said, if I stand longer, probably I'll fall down here. So I told some devotees, please you take care. I have to go. I have to leave this place. And I went to our Sevasthan. Maharaj named Sevasthan, the place where Sikh devotees are there. Because that's where devotees will be served. So, and Saranagati, the library name, where you go and surrender your, mind and intelligence and study Srila Prabhupada's books. So these are unique things that I really like those details Maharaj gives him. His artistic abilities are tremendous and unmeasurable. Anyway, so I went back to Sevasthan, and I was sitting with a bottle of water. My feet was, inside that I was sitting. Then Kirti Govind Prabhu, who is our Govindas in charge, he was given the charge of kitchen of Govindas. Nice devotee, he and his brother. So he just came up, he was passing by, he saw me. He said, what happened? I said, my feet, just so a lot of khichdi fell and it's really experiencing a lot of pain. Then devotees are so compassionate. He immediately goes back to Govindas. From the fees, he gets the dosa batter. He was a dosa specialist, by the way. Wonderful. He has a catering company now in Thane in Mumbai. Wonderful cook. Anyway, so he comes back with this chilled batter. He says, this is the best medicine, best pan. It's like a panacea. So with his own hand, he puts this layer of this thing, and then he goes back. And after 1 hour, half hour, 1 hour, he comes back again and tells me put it in the water, then removes that and put another layer. And you won't believe. So while cooking, sometimes some oil may spill on, hot oil may spill here and there, and you get blisters, right? A bubble comes out. And that was so hot khichdi, super heated, highly mass, the mass carries more heat actually because of physics. You can understand. It's just not a drop of oil. It's just a whole mass of khichdi. More heat is there. Anyway, but I didn't get any blister. Can you imagine? No blister. That idli batter works, as I'm telling to all of you who have, working in serving kitchen, you can take these notes and how to treat in a kind of emergencies and accidents. That really helped. But then I was sick down for a few days, and I was sitting and chanting on Brahmachari Ashram corridor, and the lockers are there. So I was sitting on the locker and chanting, and Maharaj came. He heard about all these things. Then he asked me, "What happened to your feet?" Things like that. So I immediately come down from the locker, stand on the bed of business, and stood there. So Maharaj is like kind of okay, it's getting better, no problem. Then Maharaj, what he does, the two, three Brahmacharis were there. He actually sits down on the floor. I get a little emotional. He actually massages my feet. And I was telling about Vasudeva, telling that how he holds his hand, but it was like too humbling in that moment. I couldn't do anything. I was standing. So some of my friends told me that how could you allow your guru to touch your feet like that? I said, I didn't know. I mean, I was like kind of so much love he expressed. I couldn't say no to it. And so that's the extent of his love and care. And he told Govindru that moment. Govindru was also there, that you get aloe vera, and this aloe vera you apply on his feet 2 to 3 times a day. So Govindru immediately says, okay, Maharaj's instruction has come. I will do it to your feet. So I was saying, no, wait, just give me, I will put it myself, things like that. But then the point is, he is so happy to take care and serve devotees. There is no limit to it. Even after I decided to change ashram, and my wife Ansupriya, last year I could not go to Vrindavan because of visa issues and all those things. My wedding was getting set at that time. So she went to Vrindavan from here, and I said you should go and invite Maharaj for our wedding. And she went. She met Maharaj. She gave the invitation, and Maharaj was glorifying me and glorifying her, and saying, giving all kind of blessings for this wedding and all. And he actually invited that if you want, you can both of you can come and settle down in GAV. I told Maharaj I want to have a special kitchen lab where we experiment, and because I am from a technical background and I did a lot of experiments and those things, so my mind goes in that way. So we can do so many experimentations and refine recipes, sattvic recipes, and start a kind of institute where we can train people in cooking. So Maharaj said, do it in GV. So immediately, not only said that, actually he did everything to set up a lab there. And he personally took me to a place. This is the place I have reserved specifically. I have told the management that this place is for Radha. And he asked me, did you like this place? Have you then things like that? Actually, he not just doesn't say things. He actually does. And that's what and that's it. You don't need anything beyond that. So, but somehow because I changed my mind, and I came over here and things like that, so that dream I could not fulfill in GV. But I'm sure Maharaj's blessing is there, and we'll be doing something to please him in that matter. But yeah, without his blessings, without his mercy, without his compassion, I don't think I am wherever I am. That is possible because of all of his blessings. So whenever people say about my good qualities or all these things, it's basically a reflection of his mercy. Otherwise, fallen soul, there is no hope. So I think there are a few more things. Maybe one thing I'll speak about it, then we'll end about Maharaj. Journey Home book release. One thing I'll say, two things I'll say, Journey Home, then we'll finish. The one is in Bangalore. People like us appreciating Maharaj is one thing, disciples, and who was benefited by his personal presence, and who was benefited by his support, love, care. So we appreciate is one thing. But a real sadhu, uh, like Prabhupada says, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, three things, right? Like it takes one to know one. So if I say so such and such person is a big doctor, that's one thing. Okay, I got some treatment, I got all fine. But another doctor saying this doctor is great is a real congratulation, isn't that? Uh, that is so much meaningful. So we, fallen people and things like that, we appreciate Maharaj because we got so many benefits from him. That is that is one thing. But proper disciples and proper God brothers, God sisters appreciating him, and people from different sampradayas. Like yesterday, his Grace Radha Gopinath was speaking. He was saying how in Sri Rangam, the head priests of Ranganath, very traditional, very orthodox place, the Brahmins, they came and they lifted Maharaj in their shoulders. Foreign body and American body, and people may be reserved to even touch, in one sense. And Maharaj, uh, he never gave any distinct. Like there used to be Muslim contractor who used to come to our temple. Many constructions, the Muslims were there in Mumbai. This guy would come and did a lot of construction work in our temple. But Maharaj saw him as a servant of Radha Gopinath, and he would hug him, and with same intensity that he would hug me or any other devotees. It's not that for him for lightly kar dete, Muslim guy, little reservations, like so uh, like we have a Hansapri has a nice dog named Flicker. So when I pat him, I use my left hand. But nowadays I'm learning to use my, because he's a person after all, of the soul. So I'm changing my left to right hand nowadays. And when Gorangpu came to US a long time back, a dog came in somebody's home or somewhere. Then Maharaj took his hand, put on the dog's head, patted. I said, now you have to adapt the culture if you want to preach them. You have to happily do these things. So he took his hand. Maharaj himself had a dog when he was a child. The photo is there in Janiamur somewhere I saw, I don't remember. And again, compassion to dogs. I'll come back to other devotees appreciating Maharaj. We're in Udupi, and there used to be a mother dog with 3 or 4 kids. And again, that was also a little chilly winter time, I believe, or whatever it was. I don't know the exact month, I'm not able to recall. No, it was not winter. So some of these, the dog puppies, they don't survive because it's for a child to survive requires a lot of care attention. So 2 or 3 they die, and 2 are remaining. And this mother was taking care very nicely. And this puppy, they grew up a little bit by the time we were there. And this puppy would dig a hole, because that's their nature. They dig a hole and go and stay in the hole for some, like their home, cozy home, small child puppy. Not even a few months, 7, 8 months, 5, 6 months maybe. So once we are on the balcony of that flat where Maharaj used to stay, and this puppy went onto the cave, the ditch where it's dug the hole, and one car was coming like this, the other came this way. So to adjust, this car went this car goes a little off the road, and one wheel unfortunately goes into the ditch. There is one king, one sound comes. Then another wheel goes, another sound comes. The child is in blood, pain. At that moment, Maharaj used to go for morning walk. And morning walk, when he would go, the doctor said to get sun. So take out his t-shirt and just his lungi type, dhoti type, sannyasi dhoti. And Maharaj would go walk like a kind of beggar and very free, nothing, and he would be happy, like that. Nobody would recognize him on the street who this person is. He was writing Journey during those days on his laptop. So he returned exactly the same time he was coming back, and he saw this incident happening. immediately he runs to that puppy, and there is no way that puppy can survive. That mother was there, mother was crying, making some sound. But when Maharaj came, sat next to the puppy, the mother understood that this person has come to save my child. The mother steps back, 2 steps goes back, allowing Maharaj to do whatever he wants to do. And Maharaj sits there straight on the ground, on the floor there, on the dust, and chants Hare Krishna very intensely to that puppy. And that puppy was still having life force. We know that it goes a little up and gradually collapses. And Maharaj chanted for that puppy with utmost sincerity. I mean, I'm sure if Krishna is there, you know, of course we know he's there, the puppy is gone back to Godhead. Because Krishna has to reciprocate, and that's what he is. And this mother became so grateful that means whatever Mahaprasad Maharaj eats and everybody eats, I will bring to that dog. And there is only one puppy remaining. This mother dog would allow the puppy to eat first. And after the baby finishes, she would come to eat. And I was thinking, oh, this concept of mother is such a wonderful thing. And even in animal species, you see it so strongly. Anyway, so that was Maharaj trying to solve that, he was compassionate for that puppy dog. And he spoke in many lectures about that pastime, that thing that happened. He spoke in many places, I remember. Anyway, so coming back to his, devotees who was like, appreciate Maharaj, his sadhus of his caliber level. So we're in Bangalore for the lunch and journey home, and His Holiness Vishwasat Tirtha Swami Maharaj. I mean, he is the one of the Pejawar Swamis, Pejawar Mat Swami. Recently, he attended some wonderful person. He took his sannyas at the age of 8, and his sannyas danda is like this big because he was small, and now he grew up, but the danda remained the same size. So he was a wonderful devotee who was serving Udupi Krishna for so many years. I had few interactions with him also. He would appreciate Prabhupada, all of us, and said, you should speak about Krishna more and more, inspire us in different ways. So he was supposed to, as a guest speaker, to open the book, release the book and speak about Maharaj, speak about the book, and make people aware of Maharaj in that city, Bangalore, that programs. So there are some, devotees who went away from ISKCON, and, they're against proper disciples for no good reason. They wanted to spread bad name for Radhanath Maharaj, and they actively do so many anti-preaching in internet. I would speak to devotees not to worry about those aspects and search in the internet those things. They don't necessarily, I never did. Anyway, so those people, they came with certain newspaper reporter, this and that, which they collected for some time, and trying to tell Vishwasat Swamiji that you should not go to this program, you should not appreciate this personality. Then Maharaj, Vishwasat, he becomes so angry. He takes those paper, crosses them, throws them into the dustbin. He says, I know who Radhanath Swami is. Get out of this place. And he just chastises them. And those guys, they run away from that place. And he speaks about Radhanath Swami so well next day morning, glorifying him, appreciating him. And that's what makes Maharaj very happy. Another person I would speak about is Ram Sevak Swami Maharaj. This is something connected to Calcutta, by the way. Devotees will connect it now. I'll speak it and then we'll end with this. The Ram Sevak Swami Maharaj met in his journey and the mother, bank of Mother Ganga, I think in Bihar, Patna, somewhere there nearby. And they had ashram in next to Ganga. Ashram is Varanda, a small place, a tree. It's now ashram. Nowadays, ashrams are like 5-star, and that's Maharaj's mercy on us. But ashram is a very humble setup. And he took care of Maharaj from the day one so nicely. He says, "You stay here as long as you like, This is your home." And Lord Ram came to him in his dream and said that this person is Krishna's devotee. So speak Krishna's pastime to him. So he told one of the person who knew English, tell him Krishna's pastimes. I was thinking Lord Ram is so, noble that if somebody is Krishna's devotee, he doesn't want to speak about him. Lord Ram's specialty. Anyway, so that thing happened, and there's a beautiful pastime. They speak of Ram Katha, but he would speak about Krishna Katha. Then finally he revealed that Samsak Swami dream, Lord Ram came and said that you are Krishna devotees. So Maharaj at that moment could not relate to it because he wanted to hear about Lord Ram a lot. Because he saw the ecstasy they are experiencing while discussing Ramayana. Maharaj, of course, he speaks about Lord Ram so good, so good. I mean, one of the best lectures. One lecture I remember that he's speaking about Prerna. He spoke about Ravana trying to kidnap Mother Sita. He was never successful because he took Maya Sita. Whereas he said Krishna, in his pastime in Dwarka, he kidnapped Rukmini, kidnapping, So Shishupal, who was actually Ravana, wanted to marry Rukmini, and everything was set. And Krishna comes to reciprocate, to take a kind of revenge of that thing that he tried to do in his earlier pastimes. He kidnaps right in front of them. Right in front of them. Ravana tried to steal Mother Sita when Ram was not there. But here, right in front of them, right from there, he stole Mother Sita and kidnapped Rukmini. So then he says, look at Ravana, such an illusory person, because of lust is so blind. He tried to enjoy something unlawful and he tried to kidnap Sita. He never was successful. It was Maya Sita. Whereas Lord Krishna, he stole. So he is a Krishna's devotee, no doubt. I mean, but he speaks about Lord Ram so good that once he was giving a Ramayana lecture in Bhaktivedanta Manor, and it went from 5 hours to 6 hours to something like that. Instead of 1 or 2 hours, it became to 6 hours katha. Then at the end, he says, you see, if I were a Ram devotee, I would have finished the class on time, because Ram devotees are sincere, that to the report. Because I'm Krishna devotee, so I spoke long on Ram. Anyway, so this Ram Sevak Swami, he gives a lot of love and affection. Then Maharaj moves on. He gives his stick, which helps Maharaj to, again, the forest dogs were trying to kill him, attack him. That stick saved him from that death, apparent death. Anyway, so then Maharaj comes back, then he meets Prabhupada, and the rest of the history we know. He becomes a devotee. And then Pune and other places, IIT Kharagpur, our Acharya Prabhu was preaching at Kharagpur, many devotees become brahmachari in Calcutta. And from Calcutta, brahmachari ashram, they are going to Pune by train from Howrah. So on the way, the taxi driver, when they see devotees in saffron, they get excited. All the religious feelings, they starts pouring out from their heart. And looking at the brahmacharis in his car, he says, in our village, when I was a child, there was sadhu sammelan. Many sadhus came. And one of them was Ram Sevak Swami. And he was speaking about some American sadhu called Richard. So this brahmachari became shocked. They say, what did you say? Say it again, say it again. They just kept encouraging to tell him more. Then they took his address and number. They came back, told Maharaj, here is a person we met who speaks about Ram Sevak Swami, speaking about you in their village in a sadhu mela. Now, what did Ram Sevak Swami spoke in that village? He was speaking now Indians, we are basically going away from our tradition, away from devotion to Lord, dedication to God, and we are trying to pursue another kind of lifestyle. And it's so difficult to get people to love Lord Ram and Lord Krishna. He said, I won't be there to see, because he was already in the 80s. and he could see it. He said, I won't be able to see it, but all of you, you will see that Richard, who's from America, will be a great devotee of Krishna. He tells that with conviction. And see, Ramsava Swami is not an ordinary Swami. Although this driver thought he's an ordinary person, because there are so many big Swamis with big followers, Ramsava Swami was not like that. But his words and his dreams and his predictions are so good, so accurate, so perfect. He says, I won't be able to see, but you will see that this Richard, now they don't know who's the Richard, they village in 60s and 70s, hardly transfer communication, everything was so poor those days. And who knows who's going to, these villagers will come to know Richard from American person, roaming in India somewhere, and Krishna devotee. But look at his prediction that this person become a driver in Calcutta. He speaks to the brahmacharis, and brahmachari brings him to the audience of Radhanath Swami, and he sees this Krishna's devotee because Ramsava Swami predicted that you will know. No wonder that this guy must have told the people in the villages about, because interaction with Maharaj is so beautiful. And he was speaking so many different sadhu. Maharaj said, no, speak about Ramsava Swami, what he said. And Maharaj was so happy because in absence, when you speak of somebody, that is really true love, isn't it? So Maharaj left and there is no way they can meet again together. And still Ramsava Swami is speaking to an audience based on the dream that he got from Lord Ram, that how this person is going to be a big Krishna devotee. So all these incidents are on parallel and wonderful. And that's what I see, that it's not just we that we appreciate, then even people from various, various social circles, not just, sadhus, but even professors, directors, and officers in government places, they, industrialists, business people, they all appreciate Maharaj because of his purity and his saintly personality. So once again, thank you Acharatana Prabhu, and thank you Anuman Prabhu. I hope you are back here somewhere. Please accept my obeisances, and all the devotees in Calcutta, Mayapur, my humble obeisances and thanks for giving me the opportunity to. Please forgive me if I've done any mistake or any inappropriate thing I've spoken. Please, it's not intentional. Please forgive me. Thank you again. Maharaj ki jai.
Jai, Radha Vallabh Prabhu, Jai. Thank you very much, Radha Vallabh Prabhu. Yeah. Pouring the nectar from your heart and drowning us and with your love for Maharaj by just your little bit hearing. We are also feeling little closer to Maharaj, and you have been showered with so much of love and affection, and thank you for sharing that with all of us. And it was really great nectar. I'm knowing so many amazing things, how Maharaj really is super reciprocator of love, and how he inspires everybody to do their service so wonderfully. Even cooking service, how much I could see that you are in complete meditation. And we came to know so many wonderful things today about Maharaj's favorite dish and favorite sweet and Mother Ganga. And we know that you are the best cook in the universe too. Hare Krishna. You are able to hear me? Hari Hari. So we are so honored to hear from the best cook in the universe, who is blessed by Maharaj. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for your valuable time.
I just got muted. So I couldn't speak because I was muted for a few minutes, a few seconds. Can you hear me now? Can
Yes,
you hear me,
Prabhu.
Prabhu? Yeah.
Yes, very much.
That is Maharaj's, big heart and big grace that he gives all these big designations. It is his love and that care that manifests through us. I mean, a little bit instrumental thing that we are proud of and happy about. But otherwise, no way. I mean, what did I know about cooking? I studied so many years in so many places, and what cooking I knew. And there are so many great chefs in the world, the five-star hotel places, huge, fantastic, amazing item they cook and all. What do I know much about these things? But yeah, he taught us about service and quality of service. And so even if it is simple khichdi, it comes out good because those training of qualities and purity that Maharaj gave us that manifests in the food. Thank you. Haribol.
Jai, Jai. Thank you. Thank you for extending yourself and giving your valuable session.
It's a pleasure.
Bless Radha Vallabh Prabhu ki Jai.
Jai.
Bless Radhanath Swami Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai.
I'm sorry I went over time.
Hari Ram.
Please forgive me. I thought I'm finishing before I
No,
went over.
perfect. Perfect. So happy. Thank you.
Haribol.
We hope and pray we'll again get your session in
Hare
future.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.